Increasingly, we live in a diverse world. In the United Kingdom, ethnic diversity is speedily growing, and across the 10 Greater Manchester districts, Salford has the highest ethnic minority population increase in percentage in the last 10 years. So looking back at Salford at that time and the Salford now, how would you say the development in Salford regarding inclusion and diversity, how would you say it has grown?
It has changed a lot. Say, if it was 1 in the scale, now it is 10.
What this means is that the city of Salford is not just home to white ethnic minority groups, it is also home to thousands of people from different race, culture and ethnic backgrounds.
Historically, we've been a city that's been built on immigration. My parents were immigrants from Ireland.
Wow.
You know, a lot of people in Salford can trace their history back to other parts of the world.
The city of Salford is diverse currently, but importantly, diverse historically. The city of Salford, when you think about our industrial past as well, was really, really important in terms of driving forward the Industrial Revolution and, you know, ultimately, as a consequence of that, introducing this great city to the rest of the world.
But how has the experiences of integration, identity and inclusion shaped the lives of these ethnic minority groups? To know this, I met with some people from the ethnic minority groups who arrived Salford in the last 20 years. And they shared with me their stories of strife and struggle, but more importantly, their success stories.
I'm a survivor of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda. After genocide, I was left a widow, and I was the only adult to survive. So after genocide, I was really traumatized. I couldn't really continue, and by God's grace, I moved out and I arrived in the UK.
I came to the United Kingdom just over 20 years ago, and during those years I've been involved in different things, which led to become a councillor for Pendleton and Charlestown.
I couldn't believe that I'm going to be a councillor. That was something was like a surprise for me.
After I had my registration and license to practice in the UK, and I could walk into the ward and I could say to the patient, my name is Zula and I am a doctor, and it felt like I fulfilled my potential.
I'm the only one coffee ceremony maker in Greater Manchester. If I'm not exaggerate, I can say the whole UK.
Salford started as a village 200 miles northwest of London. This village, which became a city in 1926, is now one of the 10 metropolitan boroughs of Greater Manchester. The city, which covers 37 square miles, is made up of the towns of Salford, Eccles, Swinton, Pendlebury, Worsley, Wogden and Earlham. Over the years, development has been very instrumental to the growth of the population of Salford. Dating back as far as 1750, during the Industrial War, Salford experienced population explosion. But many years later, in the 20th century, there was drastic population decline. However, the beginning of the 21st century saw a notable growth again in Salford's population. The city grew from about 73,000 in 2001 to over 278,000 in 2022. And in the last 10 years, its population increase ranks the highest in North England. The driver for this increase is the redevelopment in Salford, alongside migration, which has contributed to the city's diversity.
यी कर्महरू एकदमै धेरै छन् फेरि अब भागवतको पनि दशांश गर्नुपर्दछ यहाँ व्रतबन्ध आदिका कार्यहरू गर्नुपर्दछ
Salford's growing diverse population welcomes people from different ethnic backgrounds. In the 2021 census, there were nearly 50,000 people living in Salford who are from the Black, Asian, and minority ethnic groups. Many of these people who now permanently live in Salford left their homeland for different reasons. I met with Alexis, a native of Congo. He is one of the many migrants in Salford who left his home country in 2002.
What was the push factor that made you leave your country down here?
Yeah, the country has been in conflict for the last 30 years. It's not stable. Sometimes you stay there, but you don't have like a future, and because of the conflict, and you decide to go where you can find like a stable life.
My name is Ruhullah Haji. Professionally, I'm a medical doctor, and originally I'm from Afghanistan. By the way, I'm double refugee. We came from Afghanistan to Ukraine, and I had my medical school there. And since 2022, war started in Ukraine. We left Ukraine and everything behind us and coming to UK.
In Ethiopia and Eritrea, always fighting and meaningless war. I don't know how to say, but whenever I remember, it's not easy for me. I lost my mom, I lost my dad, I lost my brother. I don't know even one of my brother where he is up to today. Okay, it's.
Prior to becoming a member of parliament for Salford, Rebecca Long Bailey wasn't aware of the hardship that led many migrants to leave their home countries.
Since you got elected as a member of parliament for Salford in 2015, what has been your experience with migrants, refugees and asylum seekers?
The experiences that they're going through was absolutely harrowing. And I didn't realise before I became an MP just how much poverty refugees and asylum seekers face and the experiences they face within society when they're trying to rebuild a new life from really difficult, horrible situations that they've had to flee from, in fear of their lives and their families' lives.
These push factors have prompted Salford to respond to the need of migrants from different parts of the world.
I think the traumatic experiences of leaving your country and being displaced with a weather, culture, smells, language that is different, leaving behind loved ones, but also going through, for example, the civil war in Rwanda, through various forms of oppression due to identity. The city of Salford has really tried to respond to the diversity.
Some migrants have come to the United Kingdom seeking sanctuary, while others, like Khadija, have embarked on the journey to the UK with her family for a better life and more opportunities.
Me and my family, meaning both my sisters and my mum, we immigrated from Portugal to the UK 12, almost 13 years ago. We came to the UK for, just like everyone else, for a better opportunity in education, for a better workplace for my mother, and just for a better life in general.
Besides the improved quality of life that the UK offers, the freedom to practice one's religion was the pull factor for Ibrahima, a practicing imam in Salford.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي أما بعد Alhamdulillah, my name is Brahima Balde. I'm from Guinea-Bissau. So actually I'm living here in Salford, Manchester, UK. So I'm living here more than 4 years, now 5 years. So I'm living here because I see the life here is very easy as a Muslim to stay in this country, to manifestation, whatever you're feeling, how are you feeling, to practice your religion and your culture in this country.
I'm Lisa Dipina. I'm original from Cape Verde, where I was born and raised, and moved to Portugal at the age of 17, 18. And I came to this country in 2004 in the summer. I came with the idea to study English, improve my English, and go back to Portugal to finish my degree. But then I ended up staying here, and I'm still here for other reasons.
My name is Drula. I was born a refugee for Palestinian refugee parents, and when war broke in Syria, I could not complete my training in medicine, so I came to the UK as asylum seeker. And Home Office allocated me luckily in Salford, and that's how I got here. That's how my journey started here.
Similar to Rula, Deborah also got deployed to Salford from London. However, this move occurred after she found herself stranded on the streets of London.
I came with a businessman because what he said to me, I can work here. He left me on the street. He was telling me he's going to buy things to eat and to drink. Wow. He told me wait near to the train station, and I was waiting, he didn't come. And someone took me to the Home Office. From Croydon, they took me to Kent, Ashford. I've been staying there about 25 days. After 25 days, they bring us temporary accommodation in Salford. 456 Great Chitamin East Street. Yeah, that's my first home. Wow. Salford is my first home.
For other migrants like Obiso, the pastor of Treasure in Clay International, his journey to Salford was quite different. He believes that his relocation to Salford was a destiny call. After living in the Midlands for some time, without feeling a real connection to the place, his wife took the decision to explore other cities.
I said to her, if God truly wants us to live where we are, there were 3 things I told her. Number 1, you will not find it difficult in that place. Number 2, by the time you return, you will have had a place that we will be able to settle into. Number 3, you will have people there that will want to give you the support. She came back, and to my own amazement, it was the right place, and she said she found all those things, and that was where the nudging started. As soon as we moved into Salford, there was something in the air about Salford that makes you feel at home.
When anybody comes from another part of the world and then decides to call Salford their home, they're amongst friends, and that's the way our community's always worked, and that's what we've seen happen with people from the council, other community and charitable organisations coming together, schools and colleges operating in a way that's welcoming, and it's been fantastic to see.
Salford is a melting pot of diverse people from over 50 countries. For migrants to successfully integrate into their new home, language is a key tool. However, many of these migrants have come from countries where English is not the first language. In order to fully integrate, they must first overcome the language barrier and tackle the challenge of communication. Yolanda is a human rights activist from Congo, a French-speaking country. She was one of the migrants who experienced communication challenge upon moving to Salford as an asylum seeker.
I went to college to try to learn English. Unfortunately, it didn't last longer because after 1 year of claiming asylum, I was made, my case was refused and I became a destitute. So I had to stop my studies altogether because no one was available to pay for me. So during those years, those tough years, I kept on learning English myself, reading newspaper, the free newspaper. I would collect in the bus and also watching TV and then trying to find people to interact with. That's why I was able to learn English, and that also helped me when I actually settled. Then I went back to college, but that was after many years of being really unsettled. And
Alexis is another Congolese migrant who faced a similar challenge. Navigating the area and shopping for items wasn't easy.
Everything was new, and I have to learn, and especially when I have to start learning as well English, because that was not my first language from back home. Going to shop, for example, buying some stuff because I couldn't read some of the names. Then to choose what you should choose, maybe to choose different shop. I didn't know the area. That's some of the stuff.
So how did you go about it?
It was not easy, but I did get help from people from the church. But what I believed, it was about I have to do effort for myself, to read some books, and going to the college, and that has built my skills and my confidence as well to talk to people, especially was new people.
13 years ago, Siddiq arrived from Sudan. The language barrier hindered his ability to communicate publicly.
Whenever you go to a place, try to stay quiet, because whenever you try to speak, you think, oh, I'm not speaking like them. So if I'm speaking my broken English, or even trying to find someone else to help me, so I will feel like I'm a bit embarrassing. And then most of the people do, they just try to stay silent.
Fast forward 20 years, a significant number of migrants, including refugees and asylum seekers, now have a voice and can express themselves. This is largely attributed to the financial support provided by the government for refugees and asylum seekers to gain a higher education degree, as well as Salford University Sanctuary Scholarships, which help asylum seekers, refugees, or forced migrants progress to higher education.
I couldn't speak English, the language was a problem. How to convert my overseas qualification, that was another difficult. So I went to do my studies at this university, and I got a maintenance grant as well as paying for my school fees. So I'm grateful for that. It's really thankful for the government for having that kind of scheme to help people who could not otherwise access the higher education, because I do feel that education is very important and there is a liberating force.
Education is a practice of freedom. It's the driving force for me being in the university as a senior lecturer in social work. The University of Salford is situated in a very diverse community in Salford, and it's crucial that the university is used by the community and seen as part of the community.
When these migrants arrived Salford newly, the community was not only new geographically, but also in terms of culture and lifestyle. This led to many experiencing culture shock.
I remember when I was new, I went to Tesco and buying my groceries, and I just paying what I have in my hand, and I just hold my stuff and go. In my culture, the seller or the shop owner has to say to you thank you because you go and buy. I didn't know I should say thank you to her. The lady, I bought it, I paid, I just walked, she shouted like that, thank you. And I was shocked. I said, I just think nobody there when I said, in English culture, you should say thank you for each and everything. And since that time, I thought I know little English, but since that time I don't know any English. And I start from scratch.
Similarly, Hirfan had a strong grasp of the English language prior to moving to the UK. However, his proficiency was put to the test after encountering a Salford councillor at Peel Park in Little Halton.
He said, what do you do? I said to him, no, nothing, we are just waiting for a decision. So, to be honest, nothing. He said, do you like to volunteer? I said, what do you mean by volunteer? I said, no, helping people. I said, I need someone to help me. How can I help anybody? So he said, okay, we are organizing an event and where you will going to see many people from different backgrounds and come and join us. And he gave me the address. I remember going to council in Symington. I called him, I said, I'm here, but there's nobody in. He said, where are you? I said, no, I'm in the council. He said, no, we are not there. It's in my council surgery. So I wasn't able to differentiate what do you mean by council surgery and the counselor. And so I was confused. There are some words which we use in a different way in our own country. So surgery normally we use for an operation in a hospital.
Yes.
And in here you use surgery as a place where you can drop in, where you have got an office. And I didn't know at that time,
The process of migration has been a learning experience for Black, Asians and minority ethnic groups in Salford. A journey of unlearning and relearning. This experience has also been shared by the native residents of Salford.
I'm Portuguese by nationality, but I'm from Cape Verde. And one of the things I realized people didn't know West Cape Verde. Of course, as your country, you feel like, how do you don't know West Cape Verde? And one of the things, my way to teach people West Cape Verde is like to give them a complete lesson of geography, and then people say, oh yeah, I went back home and I searched in the map. Is that tiny dots in the map? And that's yes, it's those tiny dots there.
While culture shock is a typical experience when adjusting to a new environment, it can often bring feelings of confusion and anxiety. These feelings can sometimes help migrants to understand the native people and how to relate with them. Gilbert is from Rwanda, a country in East Africa, where greeting is an important aspect of his culture. But in Salford, it's quite different.
When I arrived in UK back home, when I meet someone on the street, I will say hello to anyone passing by. And the first time I tried, and people looked at me as a stranger, and I was shocked really, because I was expecting them to respond to my hello, but I didn't get it. So I had to ask people around if that was the way people behaved. And I learned to say hello to the ones I knew or I've been in touch with.
For me, I was shocked being on the buses and how young boys and girls would put their feet on the seats. And I used to think, should I tell them? Because in India, we would get told off by our elders doing this. It doesn't matter if they belong to your family or not.
In the UK, when I first came, I spent like a good 2 months without knowing who the person who lived next door was. So I didn't know my neighbors until a while. So that was what was different compared to when in Zimbabwe. When you come to an area or a community in Zimbabwe, everyone comes to greet you and to welcome you. I guess it's just because people in the UK tend to mind their own business and do their thing, but that's what was different.
The way I saw the missionaries and they're coming here, I thought that everybody is going to be a missionary here. So that was the first shock that I had coming to Salford.
Other than the culture shock Kalu experienced, integrating into the Salford community was easy.
Coming to Salford is not only an eye-opener, it also has been something that I treasure, and I thank God that I came to Salford. Because we came to Salford, I never been treated like a migrant. He came to Salford. We integrated into Salford, and we have been a part of the panels in Salford. So right from the onset we came on due to our ministerial engagement and activities.
While some migrants experienced a smooth process of integration, others faced difficulties. The feelings of alienation, stereotypes, and discrimination faced by blacks, Asian, and minority ethnic groups worsened significantly after the Manchester Arena bomb on May 22, 2017.
Since 2006, I'm here in Salford. Up to 2018, it was not easy, very hard. But specifically after Manchester Arena bomb, was very, very hard time we spent in Salford. Yeah, we're suffering because of one person do wrong things. Specifically, they come in our house, they knock the door, they throw egg, they throw water. A lot of, I report crime, racism, many things. But it was not action that time, but now, thank God, good time. I think less, not like before, it's less.
Obviously, when we came here, it wasn't the safest place. I remember this place, Old Soul, I think it's called, wasn't as nice as it is. 20 years ago, there was a lot of crimes. You couldn't walk on your own at night. Remember going to the petrol station to buy some groceries. I think it was, some young girls and boys asking me to buy cigarettes and alcohol for them. Obviously, I knew it's wrong. When I refused, they attacked me and tried to beat me up. About 8 of them. Obviously, I was younger, leaner back then. I had to run, but I got a bit of beating back then. I think it was not far from here. Langley Road, I think it's called.
Having experienced its own fair share of racism, particularly from children, during his early years in Salford, Hirfan used his volunteer work and activities to educate young people in the area about multiculturalism, diversity, and love.
I'm proud that I was, not 100%, but I was able to change where I lived, where I worked as a volunteer, to change that, kind of an atmosphere where people used to talk to each other, help each other, and had no they didn't discriminate on the basis of color, creed, or nationality. I was able to remove that barriers. I used to go to the schools, go to the churches, organize events, and tell them about different cultures, different people, different languages. And the people who, I think, always used to say no to people from different backgrounds, now used to have become one, come to events, eat together. That's just what has changed, actually.
I'm really inspired by him because what he does a lot of volunteering work, which for me is so surprising. Because why would you work when you don't get paid? So, and I actually got kind of interested in it, and it started with this award that my school was doing called Youth in Edinburgh, and I needed some kind of volunteering work. And I asked my dad, where should I go to volunteer? And he said, why not do the gardening thing? I'm like, oh, that would be quite interesting. And the moment I started doing it, I kind of loved it. It was like something I wanted to come every week instead of like some kind of work. Because every time I would work, people would walk past me and say, great work. And I felt really inspired by them, by just random people congratulating me on something that I did. And I just find that incredible.
In the last 20 years, migrants in Salford have experienced different forms of prejudice. But during those years, the city has also undergone significant transformation. Through deliberate efforts and ongoing education from both the council and the community, Salford has become more accepting of migrants.
20 years ago till now, how would you measure the growth of Salford in the area of diversity, inclusion and integration?
We've always been diverse, always. As I say, we're a city that's been built on immigration from those who came over in the 1960s to those who came over in the 1800s from different parts of the world in the Industrial Revolution. So it's something that we've always been proud of and it's always been part of our DNA. But certainly, I think recognising that we're in difficult economic times at the moment and everybody across Salford is struggling in one way or another. And I think Salford has brought together all of its communities in an understanding that we all face this together, and that's really important, and that's something that should be happening right across the country, to understand that the struggles that people face, we're all facing them, and there's a reason for those struggles. And it isn't because we're too diverse, it isn't because we've got different people from different parts of the world living in our city or in other parts of the UK. It's because of the economic system that we live in at the moment that needs to be repaired so that we can all have the best quality of life that we possibly can.
This is a Bhutanese religious event. It is the 7 days of ritual program, during which sacred scriptures are recited. Bhutanese community in Salford observe this ritual program in accordance with their Hindu tradition.
In special occasions, we do and gather in a community hall to organize programs, observe our festivals. Like the greatest festivals for us is what we call it as a Dussehra and Diwali, which is called the Festivals of Light.
The Salford City Council has consistently utilized the rich heritage of Salford to promote a sense of belonging and identity among its residents.
Well, we try to have as many parties and events as we possibly can, and we've got fantastic groups around Salford who are one of the biggest and best organisations that brings together all of the smaller organisations is Salford Refugee Forum, and that was an organisation that was set up many years ago to bring together all the smaller groups so that if you were on your own in Salford and you didn't know where to go for help, you'd have a big organisation that would bring together all of that support.
Salford Forum for Refugees is recognised as one of the 5 communities of identity in Salford. Since its establishment in 2008, the forum has been dedicated to supporting and addressing the needs of refugees and asylum seekers in the area. Among the executive members of the forum are councillors Irfan, Wilson and Alexis.
And this is one of the community of identity in Salford. It happened that I was the chair. Then that was to capture the struggle and also the issues faced by the asylum seekers.
Salford University has provided significant support to the Salford Forum for Refugees, offering invaluable assistance that has advanced the forum's work, outreach and impact.
Nearly 20 years ago, I realised that the Salford Forum for Refugees and Asylum Seekers had no location, had no home, had no residence. to meet together. They were meeting in McDonald's across the road from the university. And so I set about a project to bring that grassroots organisation, the Salford Forum for Refugees and Asylum Seekers, inside the university. And I call that project Not in Our Backyard, because I didn't want different community groups to be in the backyard, if you like. It's a way of not doing outreach, but reaching to bring in. So now the Salford Forum for Asylum Seekers and Refugees contribute and have an office in the Allerton building at the University of Salford in health and social care.
These are the events that we have done over the years since 2008. Yeah, and this is more recently what we've done in more recent years. And I'm sure you have interviewed Deborah. Deborah, she's running a business here in Salford. There are people who've gone into politics, into health, into a lot of different areas that have gone, and then they are making a massive contribution in our great city of Salford.
Since 2009, we started this the Salford Forum. Then after that, a few years ago, the Visible Outcome as a company is started in 2013, and that is a product of Salford Forum. We work with like Job Center. We do sometimes ask Job Center to provide training, and then we can ask communities to attend those training. Then they can do jobs.
And I remember, then meeting up people, organizing events, and then my role was to attend different meetings, represent Salford Forum for Refugees. I remember attending then the health meeting, with health service providers, and attending meeting with police, to see how we could reduce the crime and reduce the hate crime and racism. And I also remember working with the university where we are now here today. And that's how I started working.
After gaining insights from Salford Forum for Refugees and recognizing the lack of cultural Eritrean and Ethiopian cuisines in the area, Deborah set up her own coffee shop to cater to the culinary need of ethnic minority groups.
I met the Salford Forum. They opened my eye. They direct me in different kind of voluntary activities, and this is the way I'm here today.
Nice.
This place used to be hair beauty salon, and I asked the landlord who's the rent, and I got after 1 year. A lot of process, not easy to get this one, but thank God with the social housing they helped me. I got by rent, and the process is it's not easy, but finally I got the key, and because my skill, my passion is cooking and feed other people, and also I'm very, very good working with the community. Because of that, succeed. Now about 4 years, I'm here. Yeah.
Since we are open in 2016, almost 8 years, nothing happened, and we are really, we have different culture, English, Asians, Africans, Caribbean, to come to the barber shop, and we are top 3 in Salford in rate. This is my business partner.
I'm a Michael, business partner of MZ1 Barbershop, and we are open the barbershop since 2016 together, and we are happy together since that time, and we are growing our business as well, and we are happy to be in Salford.
So far, how would you say you've contributed to the multicultural diversity here in Salford?
I do a lot contribute. Number 1, I share my skill. Number 2, this is even this to show in Salford. This is our table. This is our traditional clothes. It's unique. It's good for people to see.
This traditional table, what do you call it?
It's called masob. We eat with this one. It's big things for Ethiopian and Eritrean to see this one in Salford, because if they don't go there and they're back home, they could not see it. I bring it here.
Deborah has now gone from being a refugee to becoming a coffee shop owner in Salford. She is making a cultural contribution to the community. Meanwhile, Councillors Irfan, Alexis and Wilson are making political contribution by being a part of the decision-making process in Salford. This contribution aligns with the vision of the Mayor of Salford, Paul Dennett, for the city.
Our leader, the Mayor of Salford, Paul Dennett. I remember meeting him first time in one of the meetings when he was elected as a councillor. So while meeting him in this meeting, and we spoke about the issues the refugees, the people seeking asylum, the people from Ethiopia are facing, I asked him, what are you going to do? How you are going to change the Salford as a councillor? He said that my vision is there are hardly any councillors from ethnic minority background. To see more councillors representing Salford in the council from the ethnic minority background. And who knows, he said that, who knows, you might be the one councillor. I looked at him and laughed at him. I said, oh my God, now look, he's lying, How come a person who has just moved still on asylum be a councillor? I said, he's lying, he's a liar.
I think for me, holding public office, it's really, really important that I, as an elected mayor, represent diversity in what I do throughout the work of the City Council. Be that in terms of encouraging Black, Asian, minority ethnic communities to take up public office themselves and actually influence decision making here in the City Council.
So when did you key yourself into that vision as well? Because the first time you were told you were going to be a councillor, you laughed.
I laughed.
Yeah, so at what point did you sit down and think that I can actually be a councillor and I need to go for this?
Well, the meeting Paul Dennett, in that meeting, I said, these politicians have a great role to play. They are the decision makers. But people who are making decisions for us are not from our representatives. It is someone else who doesn't have not necessarily the knowledge and the experience of the struggles we face in the community or in the system. They make the decision for us. So I said to myself, if I want to make a change, I must be that change. And to do that, I should be in politics because that's where the decisions are made. So I joined the Labour Party as a member.
Politics, I saw it as a way you can always advocate for people, you can campaign, but at the end of the day, the person who will make the decision, he will be a politician. So I wanted to be part of those people who sit around the table and they make that decision happen for the betterment of the most vulnerable in our society.
What are some of those key issues that you notice that is happening around refugees and asylum seekers that you wanted to change? What are some of those key issues?
Some of the key issues was access to services, and in terms of accessing health has been also a very important one. You remember here in Salford, we used to have what we call Horizon Center. Horizon Center was one of the GP practice in the country that specialize on issues affecting refugees and asylum seekers outside London. But due to austerity measures, this center was closed. And I remember I campaigned heavily to see if we could get some alternative. What we achieved there was that we managed to get enhanced GP services. What it means is working with the people who have gone through traumatic experiences so that the GPs are able to develop their expertise so that they can offer intervention that suits the people who are coming from outside.
So being a counselor, yes, I was nervous, it was first time. And I remember when the counting was going on at AJ Bell Stadium. And I remember when I knew that it is going to be now my turn of counting words, I left the hall. I left the hall because, what if I lose the elections? Because Walton South is white dominant. And I was the first person from ethnic minority background.
Wow.
And when the counting was done, first time, I won with a majority of 6 votes. There was a 6-vote difference.
Wow.
The people of Salford are really, very good, especially the people who live in Walton South. They didn't look at my color, they didn't look at my ethnicity. They looked at me, at what I am going to and how I am going to serve them.
With people now in positions of leadership within the city of Salford, for example, city councillors from refugee backgrounds who are in the city of Salford, who are now have a seat at the decision-making table to help community cohesion and to ensure that the diversity and the resources that asylum seekers and refugees bring to the city of Salford are not only appreciated but are integral to the city of Salford's growth.
It's an honour to have this memorial stone placed here in Salford. And I want to thank everybody who's worked so hard to make this a reality today. From our Banyamulenge community leaders to our councillors, Alexis Sharma and Wilson Nkurunziza, and of course Salford City Council.
I'm a member of Banyamulenge community from east of Congo. When I came, there was not too many members of my communities. Back home, some of our community, they have issues. They went to refugee camp in Burundi called Gatumba, and they were killed because who they were. And since 2014, we started to do some remembrance. I'm very, very thankful for Salford City Council. They have agreed to give us a place where we can put a memorial stone to remember those people who been killed because who they were. I supported as well other groups. I supported the Rwandese communities about founding a place here in Salford where we can put a memorial stone to remember the atrocity or the genocide against Tutsi in Rwanda. That's some of the activity I have been involved here in Salford to support communities.
In addition to the unveiling of the memorial stone, the Rwanda flag was also raised for the first time in Salford to honor the memory of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda.
For me, it's not been myself because I'm here with the committee as well. We've been working very hard to secure today events. We thank God that we've been able to achieve that today because we are doing it on behalf of over 1 million of our brother and sister, grandparents, children who their lives were taken away innocently during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda.
For a genocide survivor like Deborah, the memorial stone and flag-raising event carry a significant meaning and foster a sense of belonging. She is now using a survival story to positively influence future leaders.
After all atrocities I live, and after got healed, restored really, and living forgiven and forgive others, I decided to write the book. The title is Through the Fight, Memoir Survivors of 1994 Genocide against Tutsi Kabgai. Because through my book, there is a lesson to learn, there is a message to give to all age group, generation to generation.
Migrants in Salford have only been able to contribute and make positive impact in Salford due to the city's commitment to its vision. The vision of the Salford City Council is to create a fair and inclusive city where everyone is treated as an individual without discrimination.
If you have a vision but you don't have leadership, it cannot be easy to reach your vision. But the leadership, especially the city mayor of Salford, Paul Dennett, he has really supporting us to reach our vision and to do many things which we are planning as to work as in the community, and also to be integrated and to do some work for the council. Yeah, I can say as well we have a very good local MP, which Rebecca Long Bailey. She has been supporting us as well in different events. When we organize most of the event or activity, the city mayor or our local MP and other councillor from, they are very supportive.
So this city, the city of Salford, has always welcomed people seeking asylum and refugees. However, when we look at other local authorities in other parts of England, I think it's fair to say that some parts of the country do not do some of the great work that we do here in the city of Salford and Greater Manchester. And for me, central government and the Home Office sits at the heart of some of these problems. And, you know, over the last 14 years, we've seen 245 million taken out of our budget in cuts to the central government grant and unfunded budget pressures. It wasn't long ago, for example, the Home Office were knowingly evicting people from their homes to the streets because they knew we didn't have enough council housing. They knew what our waiting list was. And we did what we could. We set up an emergency shelter to support those people. But you see, the decisions taken at the heart of government can have profound implications for what happens in communities up and down the country. And I think for me moving forward, we've got to get Westminster and Whitehall working in partnership and in collaboration with local government.
I'm the president of Burundian community in Manchester, in Greater Manchester, whole Greater Manchester. That includes Salford and Bolton, Oldham and Manchester. And yeah, as a community we've had to rely a lot on support from the City of Sanctuary that Salford is. They've helped us when some of my community members were sick. They helped us when some of my community members were homeless. They helped us when some of my communities were facing deportation or facing some hardships. I know I could always knock on Rebecca Bailey's door. She's helped us, guide us when some of my community members were facing homelessness.
And another thing I've enjoyed in Salford is to see us coming together with people of this country, especially the moment I've seen the ceremonial mayor, the councillors coming to see us, to encourage us, to be with us. I've met so many people from other communities people from other nationalities, and I'm really happy to see them and to see diversity in this community, and especially in Salford.
British culture adoption is little bit harder is there. This is the diversity, and I have seen so many, met my local community peoples here, and I attend that programs there, and also I joined the British Society here, and local councils have so many programs to adoption, to develop like this one is there. So I joined that program, I enjoyed that meeting is there.
And if there is one thing that all the councillors that have been interviewed for this documentary have mentioned, if there is one word, that word is support.
Yeah.
They have all highlighted the immense support they've gotten from the Salford Council, the authorities, and particularly you. I would like to know what inspired, your decision and your action to be such a great support to the migrant communities and refugees.
It's about love, really, isn't it? It's about loving each other. And I think once we're in Salford and we call ourselves Salfordians, the Salfordian ways that we look after each other, whatever happens, we've got your back.
Migrants in Salford have only been able to contribute and make positive impact in Salford due to the city's commitment to its vision. The vision of the Salford City Council is to create a fair and inclusive city where everyone is treated as an individual without discrimination. In addition to the backing of the City Council, various organizations within the city provide support and assistance to refugees and other migrants.
This organization called Salford CVS, they help different people to different connections. For example, me, I wanted to go into healthcare. So they told me that, okay, they could connect me to different care homes to start doing voluntary work because I didn't have any other experience. So then as I started doing voluntary work, I was able to change a lot of people's lives because some of the clients in the care home, they don't have family members. They're in isolation. So just to come and have a one-to-one with a service user and see a big smile on their faces just made me feel very happy.
I was lucky that in my Home Office interview, one of the Home Offices mentioned to be about an organization called REACH, which stands for Refugee and Asylum Seeker Health Care Professionals Education Center, which helps healthcare professionals like myself to regain their registration so they can practice again in their professions in the UK. So they helped me to pass my English and medical exam and become a doctor again, and here I am.
I struggled a lot in the beginning to find the job. I had to go to the job center every time to sign. I started volunteering. I then got an opportunity to get training in the care settings. After that, I applied for a job in the hospital, Salford Royal Hospital, got a job, and finally I was successful. My application was successful as a support worker. I worked there. I'm still working as a healthcare assistant now.
Religious communities in Salford have also been actively involved in projects and activities that are beneficial to both migrant and native residents.
I remember some years ago, here at Echoes, the young people, they obviously may be feeling bored. They go into the city center, trash everywhere. On one occasion, Morrison Superstore had to close, and it was so messy. The police were kind of running around. Then thank God that we were able to write to the then mayor of Salford, and he sent somebody from the council who came here where we're sitting, and then we were able to put our heads together, and we we're able to, with other church, with the church community, like the so many churches, we are able to bring up an event termed the Gospel Youth Day, Gospel Music Day. And it was a big event. The council helped us so much. They gave us the Center of Echoes, and we're able to bring all the gospel musicians, both British and international, from London, and it was a very successful event. We held it concurrently for about 2 years or 3 before the COVID started. So I would say that, you know, through that way, we're able to give back, because right after the first event, everything calmed down.
Work with an Islamic center as our aim to serve the entire community. As our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the best among you are those who bring greatest benefit to others. So we are established our center, Islamic center, to serve the all community, not only Muslims, but all our community.
We are aiming to have a youth club which bring this beautiful age group together and help them improve their skills and be ready for their jobs, and also like socializing in a very safe area. And
other skilled migrants with skills have also contributed their expertise to the enhancement and diversity of Salford.
Like anyone else from my community or any other migrant, there are things, skills we have brought in. I'm working as an independent mental health advocate, supporting people who are vulnerable, who are sectioned under the Mental Health Act. So I support their views, making sure they know their right under the section. And also, my contribution as a community leader is to make sure that people freshly coming from Congo in my community can integrate, and I can show them pathways and how they can navigate through in order to succeed as well.
After moving to Salford, I've learned so many skills, studied a few courses and stuff like that. And I can say now, initially I like music, I like sports, so that was my interest. So I just explored opportunities in the community. So I approached Salford CVS, and that's a voluntary service in Echoes, and they told me about Salford City Radio. So when they recommended me then, and I went there, I was trained, and now I'm a full presenter. I have my own show now. I present my own show for Salford City Radio, so which I play obviously a kind of music, Afro beats and live in the community.
In the beginning, I came to Salford. I was homeless. I had no clue. It took me a long time, but thanks God, I'm a data center engineer now, working full time, and
although there is still more work to be done, Salford has changed significantly from what it used to be 20 years ago. The diversity in Salford has made it possible for ethnic minority people to succeed in their different endeavors.
We started this group in 2017, and so far we've been supporting over 1,000 women to improve their life, especially financially, and those going either to start a small business or go back to work or go back to school. And so far we're still thriving. Recently we just received the First King's Award for our duty and commitment and engagement in our community. So that can say that we are doing the right thing in the community. How many awards do you have in total? Because I'm losing count of the ones on these walls.
I don't remember. It's countless. I got different awards. I got from people, from housing. I got it from the Salford CVS, Heart of Salford, from the university. When I look at it, and look around here, it gives me kind of energy to do more, to do more. And now you will see why I'm keeping it here. Because when people who are new to Salford and who don't know, who don't think, like I used to think that, I can't be a councillor. when I, laughed and said, Paul Dent is joking and he's making fun of me. I want to tell them that it is possible.
Reflecting back, what would you say Salford means to you? What does Salford mean to you?
Salford is my home. Yeah, it's my home. Really, I enjoy it. I'm really thankful that I've got my wife here, my 3 children who are very supportive to what I've done, and they studying here. They feel at home. I feel at home.
I feel like Salford for me now is home. Because if I look back, I will live in this country, in this city, more than I live in my own country.
Salford is one of those great places that is being neglected, yet it could become the rare gem of Great Britain.
To me, Salford is a place to be. I feel at home.
I'm proud to live here in Salford, working, sharing my culture is like my history.
City of Salford has been a home to me and has been a home to many of Banyamulenge who have fled from Congo.
We preferred to move to this area, Salford area, to participate in the empowerment, the whole community, because we find it the suitable place not only for us but also for our children.
Making decision to live in Salford was a very good decision for me because it was like my second home. Obviously from Nigeria, and I found another home here in Salford.
I would describe Salford in the phrase, our home.
Once you're a Salfordian, you're always a Salfordian, and we'll never let you leave whether you like it or not.
Okay, so we are never letting you